And here we are, episode 261 of the Broadcasters Podcast. This is KLP with you. So the media, the major corporate media, all the big corporate-owned media that's out there, the mainstream culture, it's suffering right now. And I'm serious when I say that it's going through a bloodbath right now. Economically, creatively, it's tearing apart. Now, it's going to find its way to recover. But right now, this just is a moment of weakness in so many different areas. When you look at where the stock market's already wiped $500 billion plus from the media sector in just this year, just in 2023. Then you have the broadcasters, all these different places that are trying to they need to go and get a new way to go ahead and, measure audience to try to make the audience numbers look better for advertisers, to try to make it where people are still sticking around with, regular linear TV and network and cable TV. There has to be some way to show that. So that kind of stuff is going on. Plus, the streaming wants to be able to go ahead and show a measurement. So they want to try to get that all set in a certain way. And maybe Nielsen's not the answer for that. And then the issues with the whole thing with all the different shows that are getting greenlit, renewed, or canceled. There's so much going on right now among all these companies, it's hard to even keep up. And there's been so much backlash on this. Whether it's the DCEU, whether it's all the shows being dropped by HBO Max, or the ones that are dropped by Netflix. My goodness, it's a lot. That's what's going on. And everybody's really getting all worked up about it. The box office now is going to try to work its way through, but I'll tell you what, they're also hurting as well because, some of the numbers for some of the movies have not gone out well. I didn't get a chance to watch Plane. I wanted to watch it, but I was sick. And that's why I didn't do the show Thursday night. That's why I'm doing it Saturday. But yeah, that's what was going on with this. It sucked, but that's where I'm at right now. And I was just trying to work my way through. Now, at the moment, I don't have any word as to what the movies are doing so far and how they did over the weekend. But at the moment right now, the daily chart as of Friday, off the bat, oh my goodness. Ooh. So House Party debuted and maybe only got 1,400 theaters, but it only made $1.4 million. That's it on Friday. Ouch. Megan so far has made $43 million. In its first, they've been out actually roughly 8 days in release. That's it. So, been a week, and they're doing fine. Man Called Otto, $10 million. This is a domestic, by the way. Among the new movies that are come out in 2023. There's a whole lot more to that, and where it's going to go. And we know that the release schedule is going to be really busy, which is nice. But we'll go through all that in a moment. Now, with all that going on, there's just so much here. Meanwhile, the content creators are doing great. They are happy because there's a lot of people making money. Maybe the thing is the media, the big media companies, they need to make so much money to go make sure their shareholders are happy, to make sure everybody else gets taken care of. They have to continue to keep hitting marks. And right now, with the change from the pandemic, this digital disruption, and the fact that we needed to go ahead and make the transition from the antiquated network cable model and start getting streaming up and running and get people to say, well, if you're not going to go and watch our advertising on cable or network, well, then we got to get you to watch it over on Netflix or HBO Max or wherever. And they're trying, but the subscription numbers they got people up there when they were just feeding content up there as much as they wanted to. And they kept the prices low, but the prices keep going up. Listen, HBO Max just went up $1. Netflix already went up before, and I think they're going to go up another time at some point. And I mean, it's Paramount Plus, all of those. Warner Brothers Discovery is going to do something with that because remember, all these companies are coming in and it's like they're going to start having to merge. We know that's all going to happen because that whole market right now is volatile. Streaming has not been answered yet. The whole thing has not been set up yet. So they got to work on that. It's going to take some time. And with that said, the content creators are doing great. Now, there are some things where they say podcasting, which is always in that middle ground, where there are the big, large media conglomerates that are running podcasts, and that's what some of these stories always refer to. Meanwhile, the grassroots, we're making money. We're not making a lot, but the thing is, how much money can we make based on the audience we can get? It's the virality of it all, So that's what it's looking at. Anyway, let's go and go into the stories. We'll get into it. Thanks for listening in. Broadcasterspodcast.com is where all the content's at. So if you want to find all the past episodes, all past 260 episodes, including this one, where to subscribe, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and all the social media, which is at King of Podcasts, wherever you find any social media. So it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. It's all there. All right. So the big story, it comes off of Yahoo Finance. They're the ones that really, they blew the whistle on how bad things are in the media. So this is just in the first, 15 days we're at now? And things are bad. Now, meanwhile, stock market was going up a little bit across the board, but a senior reporter with Yahoo Finance reports that in 2022, they had rising costs, debt-ridden balance sheets, a renewed focus on profitability, and the sector investors quickly punished companies struggling to return a profit. Netflix went down 50% in 2022. Warner Brothers Discovery, Spotify sunk more than 60%. Roku down a whopping 80%. And by the way, I watched the Roku channel for the first time for the Miss Universe pageant, and the Miss USA wins. So, Arbani Gabriel, I think is her name. She's Filipino-born American, Filipino American, is the winner of the Miss Universe 2023. How about that? Congratulations to her. A pretty lady. Fox, Comcast roughly went down 20 and 30% respectively. Paramount Global shares plunged down 45%. Disney down 45%. And Disney might have the worst year since 1974. And that's because of the fact that Avatar's sequel missed opening weekend expectations, which is just a bad year for them. Remember, they had Strange World that tanked. They had, Lightyear that did not hit certain levels, right? Like all that. It's just bad. Now, Avatar, I'm trying to think how far it went so far. Okay, Avatar, at the moment, it is $1.762 million worldwide. So they still need to break $2 billion to break even. I think it's 2.4. They're still behind. It's going to struggle to get there, but there you go. Incredible. That's quite a mark. And for the fact that it had to put so much money in this movie, okay, let's put it like this. I mean, they're making the kind of money they're making right now, and its all-time worldwide box office, it's ranked number 7th as the 7th most largest box office movie ever. But it was the amount of money they had to put into it to make it so they can actually get a profit back. That's incredible. So in 2022, over $500 billion plus in market capitalization from all the biggest media, cable, entertainment companies. And 2023 is not going to be any better. They're already saying that right now. Keep looking and saying what do they say here now? Netflix, they're starting to lose subscribers for the first time in its history. Market cap sink from $267 billion to $130 billion. So like when subscribers started going down, the value of that company went down. Peacock, part of NBC Universal's package, zero growth in the second quarter, and subscribers rebounded in the third quarter, 2 million additions to the Peacock platform. So subscriber growth has led to heightened criticism of production budgets, which have increased as competition intensifies. Netflix, now in 2022, they committed to $18 billion to content alone. And then Disney went up by $8 billion, $33 billion. I mean, think of what they're doing here, man. Think of the kind of money they're putting into this for all these different programs on television. Meanwhile, put that kind of money into a movie and look at the movie that's going to come on back and make a profit. So, it's the fact that Netflix, they need to do more when it comes to doing some box office. Because that's the thing is, the box office needs the movies as much as the movies need the box office. The box office is still important. Because if you get a movie that's really popular, like listen, for everything that Disney has, if they don't get the Marvel movies over there in the theaters and the kind of money they can make, if they didn't get Avatar in the theaters, I don't know what they would do. Like, these are the kind of things that, like, they got to get this figured out. Disney can't be without movies in the theaters. They have to have them in the theaters. There's just no choice. Now, the other platforms, we're looking at, let's see, other companies pivoting from linear to streaming have spent from $2.7 billion in 2019 to $15.6 billion. And now it's going to be $24 billion among a lot of the others. The ones that are not Netflix, Amazon, Apple. $24 billion on content for those. Like, remember, look at those numbers right there. $100 billion almost on content. And, I mean, think of the kind of projects you'd be doing for that. Because this is not shows that are like appointment watching. These shows can come on any time. And some of these shows are just kind of rehash or retread, or it's just the same stars doing something else. They're just not that interesting, not that creative, not that, wow, nothing at all. Now, Disney's direct-to-consumer, they lost $4 billion plus in 2022. Paramount told investors streaming losses will total almost $2 billion this year, which is higher than Wall Street expectations. And Warner Bros. Discovery, its market cap is cut in half because they're doing a lot of restructuring right now. And the company now plans to take on $3.5 billion in content impairment and development write-offs by 2024. Yeah, they're just going to keep cutting. So I don't know how much new content is going to come out from them. I guess there's a lot of projects that got shelved and others that got canceled, which is what's going on. In 2023, we're going to start seeing more advertising on all these platforms because there's going to be ad-supported platforms on here to get more people to buy if they don't mind the ads. So, for instance, now Netflix will have an offering in November, $6.99 to include ads in their content. Disney will have one in Disney Plus for $7.99. And so there's the thought that the ad tiers will actually make some money for those companies. And so these are the things we have right now where everybody's wondering, the streaming platforms embracing ad-supported. And you think of what they have, the pricing for it. Like Amazon Prime Video is $8.99 and they don't have ads. When it comes to Apple TV, $4.99 without ads, okay? And then you look at the higher ones. So say if you want to watch HBO Max, $14.99 without ads, $9.99 with ads. Hulu, $12.99 without, $6.99 with. Netflix, $9.99 without, $6.99 with. And the same thing goes for, let's see, Paramount Plus and Peacock would be $4.99 with ad supported and $9.99 without ads. That's the kind of stuff they're working on right now. That's a lot. They're all struggling. And in the story, they also talk about media mergers on the horizon, that there should be more media merger activity, which is what corporate companies are going to do. When they can't make the kind of money they're making, they can't do the cuts, they can't do the certain things they're doing, and the investments they put in are not panning out. Let's just merge with somebody else. That's what they do. Now, for instance, okay, Lionsgate's film and TV studio, it's going to spin off into a separate company, which will be for sale. AMC Networks will undergo a restructuring that can result in an acquisition. So like some companies are getting prepared to be sold, right? Paramount could be attracted to unload. Smaller players like the WWE, Clear Curiosity Stream, and Chicken Soup for the Soul will likely sell due to their size. So then some of these other places, there are going to be some properties that are going to be intellectual that some of these streaming properties are going to have, proprietary. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Now, going back to Disney, because Bob Iger had to come back and kind of fix things up. He's now CEO again. He has a slew of decisions what to do with notable assets. When it comes to Hulu, which he could sell to Comcast, or ESPN, which there's a lot of talk about that ESPN might become standalone once again and completely separate from Disney. Same thing with ABC, which would be pretty good smart, I think. Now, the other thing that's been a result of all this is because of all the jobs lost. Great time of year for this, right? So more than 3,000 jobs have been cut through October this year. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Netflix laying off 150 positions off of their 11,000 person workforce in May. And Warner Brothers Discovery revealed prominent Discovery executives will be exiting the company. CNN Plus has been axed. More CNN staffers and 14% of HBO Max's workforce have been eliminated. And so far, David Zaslav at Warner Bros. Discovery has eliminated over 1,000 jobs. And there are projects and programs that have been scrapped. Paramount Global, they started cutting jobs in November. And AMC told employees the network has struggled to offset cable declines as cord coming accelerates. And then Comcast made job cuts in November. Roku slashed 200 jobs for 5% of its workforce. Then they tell about the theatrical comeback here. It's continuing to recover from the pandemic. You know what? Part of the reason is because these movie companies, these movie studios decided to go and push movies back and away off the calendar because of all these threats of, variants recurring and surging. When they didn't, now they have a pretty crowded 2023 and a lot of movies moved around that just went in a bad place, man. You ask yourself when you see House Party being brought in first of the year, I think that movie was going to be pushed out late last year and it got pushed back, right? Whew, horrible. But movies could still make money. Listen, Top Gun getting back a normal setup for the fact that they got out Memorial Day weekend broke records, by the way. And Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, each got triple digits in multi-million-dollar domestic openers. So they think movies will add box office stars over the holidays well into 2023. Streaming giants have enjoyed theatrical because Netflix had Knives Out, Glass Onion, a successful limited theatrical release, which is why they need to do more. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Amazon's going to report invest over $1 billion to produce 12 to 15 movies a year exclusively for theaters. Yes. And what they need to do is figure out how to market. Because it's really a shame on how certain movies are getting marketed and they're just falling flat. Because I will admit, when Babylon came out, nobody understood what that movie was going to be. I didn't either. But I didn't know it was of the film industry. I didn't know. I just saw the debauchery of the parties and Margot Robbie dancing around. That's all I saw. And like this, swinging music of the 20s. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. And that's what they were showing on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Like these little short clips. And like, we didn't get the context of all. I think I might have seen the trailer once or twice, but that's about it. They didn't show they didn't put it on in the football games or any live sports. Nothing like that. Which is another thing I don't get. Why do the movies not have any trailers out there? It's not like they don't have inventory. I don't know what's going on, but you know what I hope? I hope the Super Bowl is going to have quite a few commercials of movies. We need to get some of that. I don't know what's going to be, but we need to see more movie marketed because they're not getting that much out there. When I saw that actually did get marketed pretty good was Megan, and that made money. It actually did really well. And you started seeing all the things where like that and Smile, they keep showing the characters on camera, like in whatever kind of gimmicks you're having them out there, and kind of like these publicity stunts. It works. It works really well. So for 2022, they expect right now that the box office is going to bring in, would have brought in $7.4 billion for the year. And that's the idea. A lot to unpack in that story that was really good and explains everything, which is why I got to make this point across. There's a lot going on that's not good. So people need to be aware of what's happening now. It's not going to be good where they are in all these issues at the moment. Like the big media needs the help right now. They want to get more advertisers, which would be one issue to try to, handle things. Because if they could just get the old model to go back and get started again, right? Imagine if they could get the ratings to come back up again and get people to watch what's on TV. But you know what? They're not. People are not going backwards to television. They're not going back to cable like they were. Just not. Hey, Yellowstone pulling out almost 8 million viewers, I think, first couple of weeks of their season 5. Other than that, no, man. They're all struggling right now. Because nobody's making really big ratings. Not at all. Well, they don't even want to talk about the full audiences. They want to talk about 18 to 49 numbers. Because any of the numbers they talk about sound bad. So think about that. Sports is doing fine, as we know. So the Golden Globes came back, by the way. You know, in 2019, that show drew 19 million viewers. You know what it drew this week? 6.25 million. Down 10% for 2021. Wow. That's indicative of what's going on with big media now, and where people are, the Hollywood stuff's just not working anymore. That, sanctimonious crap that we got out there, it's just not working now. It's just not working. Not like it used to. It's pretty bad. And I asked for the ratings from the last week. Put it like this. The first week of January, just for an example. A lot of shows will be coming back with new programming and all, okay? And I'll tell you, the House Speaker election, right? I'm not talking politics here. I'm just talking about the numbers. That whole circus, okay, whatever side of the aisle you look at, CNN had a big jump. Fox News, had a big jump for people watching all of that. I don't even know what the combined broadcast was, but I mean, you're talking about like a big increase in viewers, as opposed to like the normal, like what, a couple of million they might get combined. I mean, triple, quadruple that. I don't have the actual numbers here. I'll see if I have it somewhere in here somewhere. But then you had the Prince Harry interview, salacious crap, Meghan and Harry, right? And 60 Minutes had the interview. It was right after football. 11.215 million viewers for that. Meanwhile, sports ruled. And if I look at what the rest of the programs are, okay, Chicago non-NFL programs on NBC, 7 million viewers for Chicago Fire. That's the highest they had on any of their shows. For ABC, The Rookie, 4.69 million viewers. That's nothing. Nothing. And CBS, it's FBI with 7.5 million viewers. That's it. Meanwhile, you want to watch some sports on TV, network and cable, it's all over the place. Look at this. For instance, ABC and ESPN had Monday Night Football. That was the Buffalo-Cincinnati game, which, we had a Damar Hamlin that got hurt. 23.7 million viewers on that game. And then, let's look here. CBS had their 1 o'clock games on Sunday, 11 million viewers. And the same thing for the Fox NFL game. And then ABC had a Saturday NFL football game, and that got 10 million viewers. Crazy. And everything else across the board, like, college football had some numbers, right? We know that the national championship game had a big audience for that too. People will watch that. Otherwise, no, not much. It's big business. So sports people will watch salacious crap, sure. Like real reality, yes, they'll watch that. That actually gets people to watch. But you can't predict when real reality is going to be out there. That's the part you can't control. So this is all the things that are happening now, and it's just a big old mess. So now about the standard. Measuring the shows so they can get more people to like at least get the advertisers to buy into their bullshit, right? So a group of national broadcasters announced the formation with a joint industry committee, and they want to create a standard to support multiple cross-platform video currencies in time for the 2024 upfronts. Nielsen's not part of this, by the way. So to try to create rating systems for all these different media platforms to give like a claim of what they're doing, what they're performing. They don't have that. And Nielsen's already got like kind of flack because of the fact that, there were some people that were like talking about like not even using Nielsen to report anymore because there's such a monopoly anyway. So that's the whole idea with that. But in the meantime, we know there was a lot of things going on where Nielsen's going to be bought out. And, if Nielsen feels like they can still kind of hold over the head to these broadcasters, that people need to use their service the way they have it. Personal people meters, when it comes to radio, when it comes to TV, they're not great, but people are believing on it, so they'll do it, whatever it takes. Now let's get into the actual issues of the shows and the projects being panned, the ones that are being greenlit, the ones that are being canceled, that are existing, all those things. IndieWire calls it the new cancel culture, while renewals, green lights, and production aren't what they used to be. And there's a lot to get into here. So let's get into all what these TV shows are going into right now. So we talked, what was it, the end of last year? What was it, August or September last year? When Batgirl got dropped. They decided just to shelve the whole damn thing once the Warner Brothers Discovery merger came into place. And other projects were not only canceled, but removed from their services, and ranging from already renewed series fresh off their first seasons, and in production on the second, which was Minx, and others that were supposed to be tentpoles. Westworld dropped after 3 seasons. So HBO Max has a graveyard strewn with existing content mowed down by accountants, and honestly, just watch TikTok. Everybody was all over it a couple weeks ago. Warner Brothers Discovery right now holds nearly $47 billion in net debt. So what are they going to do about it? And the CFO over there says that 2023 is a year of relaunching and building. So 5 weeks before production began, Paramount Plus revoked the green light on the movie adaptation of Comedy Central series Workaholics. And now they said it's because of the fact that it no longer fits their new global strategy. That's what Adam Devine said on Instagram. Netflix unrenewed season 2 of the animated show Inside Job. Stars removed Dangerous Liaisons, Becoming Elizabeth, and Step Up from its service. They were all previously canceled, with Dangerous Liaisons as a season 2 unrenewal. AMC Networks, they dropped unrenewed the second season of Moonhaven, canceled completed second seasons of 61st Street and Pantheon, killed the first season of Invitation to a Bonfire with 4 or 6 episodes already produced. Damascus, the sci-fi comedy from Emmy Award winner Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul executive producer Mark Johnson, also shut down. You had a bunch of teen shows that were going to be on Netflix, and that was I'm Not Okay With This, The Society. The 4th and final season of Glow was canceled, and Paramount Plus canceled a season 3 of Mark Cherry's Why Women Kill. All that dropped. Now, they're going to say that the pandemic is part of this. Sure, I understand. But the newfound reality is now reasonable to cut bait on fringe renewals or those with particularly tricky production plans. And the realization now is that streaming is not a bulletproof business. So the spending spree is into a cost-cutting race now. Everybody's going to have to start cutting. Whether film or TV, they say. Well, actually, first of all, they're talking about movie producers. First of all, they're talking about they're familiar with the busted theatrical. And once promising project, a studio later decides isn't worth the cost of a theatrical release. As such films are rarely shelved, they find a home on streaming or VOD, and sometimes you just try to find another buyer for your suddenly homeless series if the deal between network and studios allow it. Film or TV, the bottom line is the bottom line on a company's income statement. And taking a show off of streaming could save on residuals and cloud storage costs. Networks don't want to throw in good money after what they determine is a poor investment. Every network is happy in its own unhappy in its own way. So, will this ongoing thing, which is what they call cancel culture in this form, will this version stay? And they say probably. It would cost networks and streamers less to decline a project in the first place, but it's the town that invented ghosting. They're well known for being much easier to get a maybe than a no, and finding a way to save money and the next best thing to a revenue stream is likely to give that privilege. Unlikely to. So who wants to do content for these big companies? Well, now it's like so volatile right now. It doesn't matter if you're nepotistic or not, but like there's nothing you can get out there that's going to be greenlit. Nobody has the money for it, or they're not willing to spend the money for it. And that's part of the thing that's kind of really an issue that's going on right now. So content creation's winning. I'm just showing you the things that just keep saying that. Now, two of the stories that refer to this is, let's see, box office. Was a top secret every year for a movie going last year. See what happens now. Hollywood Reporter talks about now that they learned from 2022 that Top Gun Maverick, Avatar Way of Water, people are going for those movies, the tentpoles they call them. But those other movies like family films, mid-range dramas, they went after an audience that's more elusive and more picky than ever. So they need to figure out what to do with that. And those are the kind of movies I want to see. The ones we're talking about now, these mid-range dramas, that's Amsterdam, that's The Menu, that's Babylon. Yeah, they all struggled last year badly. And if I look at the box office for some of these movies and what they did last year, I can only imagine how far down they went. Just look at the top 100, okay? I don't even know Clerk Street came out. I don't think I ever saw it. Huh. Let's see. Or for the First Kill, She Said. These are all movies that are like in the bottom of the pile here, and making less than $5 million total for their run. How about Firestarter? Remember that? Oh, that made under $10 million. The Whale, critically acclaimed. It's just under $10 million. What else we got? Bros. Remember Bros? That movie got panned. It got destroyed. And it only made $11 million domestic. That's it. And I'm trying to think who else there is here that's really bad. Okay, Babylon's only made $14 million. Oh, that's bad. Off of $200 million. Ooh. Amsterdam, almost $15 million off of like another $200 million budget, right? Moonfall, another like $160 million budget. Also panned. Horrible. Paws of Fury, Legend of Hank, $17 million. Oh, that's horrible. And like I said, Glass Onion, $15 million. Imagine it could have kept that out there. And there were so many movies that went the same way. Devotion, $20 million. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the Nicolas Cage movie, $20 million. Whitney Houston, $21 million. That's it. That's all they're making. Marry Me, remember Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson? That went, $22 million. And they put that also partly on the other thing, right? Like, damn. The Menu, $37 million. I guess it did okay. Death on the Now, $45 million. Don't Worry, Darling, $45 million. And it had a bigger budget. It's just not good. Morbius, $73 million. It still did bad. DC League of Pets did not do well. Just under $100 million. Among the other movies that it had, right? Just not working out well. So they explained that 2022 had a lack of product and that there are plenty of big titles in 2023. You got The Flash, Mission Impossible, Barbie, Indiana Jones, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a Dune sequel, just to name a few. They're expecting it all to come back better. And I hope so. Like so far, if you're looking at the full release schedule coming up for 2023, I'm hoping for a lot. Like right now, I'm just looking for the fact that, okay, let's see what we got. There'll be a lot of widescreen releases coming up January 20th. And like every week, we will have multiple movies coming out. 80 for Brady is coming out February 3rd. Magic Mike's Last Dance, that's February 10th for the Valentine's Day weekend. Ant-Man and the Wasp is February 17th. Cocaine Bear, February 24th. I'm looking forward to that. Creed 3, March 3rd. Scream 6, March 10th. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, March 17th. John Wick Chapter 4, March 24th. Like, I mean, tell you, the start of the spring is hot. Let me tell you what. The Pope's Exorcist, April 7th, and Super Mario Brothers, April 7th. And then move along. May, Guardians of the Galaxy, May 5th. The third installment of that. Fast X May 19th, and then going into the summer movie season, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse June 2nd, Transformer Rise of the Beast June 9th, Indiana Jones June 30th, Insidious 5 July 7th, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 July 14th, Barbie July 21st, The Marvels July 28th, The Meg 2 August 4th, another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a lot going on here, man. Blue Beetle August 18th, Equalizer 3 September 1st, Expendables 4 September 22nd. Like, I got a lot of movies to watch next year. For me, I got a whole bunch to watch. Dune Part 2 November 3rd, Hunger Games The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes September 17th, Trolls 3 is that same weekend for your Thanksgiving Day weekend. Wonka December 15th. So, like, let's get into the Christmas here. Color Purple December 20th, and Ghostbusters sequel is December 20th. And Christmas Day, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. There's a lot packed in right there. And so much more to still in the list for 2023. Legally Blonde 3's in there. Salem's Lot, Sesame Street. There's a lot in this list. A lot. So just keep in mind, man, this is so busy going on. I just want to see what popcorn season gives me. Like, let's give me some stuff that's going to be worth watching, huh? That's what I'm looking forward to. No, that's what I want to see. And by the way, House Party, bad. I heard a lot of bad things about it, so I don't know if I'm going to go see it. I think I will just watch just for the, because, you know, I don't mind if I just walk out of the theater if it's not that good, but I'll give it a chance. I got a subscription anyway. Why shouldn't I, right? Now, Hollywood has already been working so much with the movies when it comes to, the superhero stuff. Well, the next thing they want to really work on is video games, even more so than before. You remember how well they did with Uncharted last year? Sonic the Hedgehog, based on video games, and they did well. Mortal Kombat was out 2 years ago, and that went well. And the same thing goes for TV. The Witcher, Halo, Arcane, Resident Evil, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Right now, HBO Max is going to be debuting The Last of Us. And they're going to see if they can work out well, man. Why not? So, Imperial Analysis, this research company, in September they estimated there were 20 to 25 movies and TV series released per year based on video games. And a video game segment is projected to generate total revenue in 2023 of $221 billion, 56 billion of it in the U.S. And will continue to increase, they say. Wow. Now let's get into the content creators. And all I need is one story to tell you that everybody's doing really well. Just one. Just one. All I got to do is go to variety.com and tell you about it. So we're going to do that right now. Now this is already a month old. This is December 1st, but I think it just bears to make the point. In 2022, YouTube is one of the biggest arbiters when it comes to content creation, besides a TikTok. But YouTube is a good place to start. You're talking about like the similar length of programming and people that are engaged in programming, the way it's being produced. You're keeping an eye on what they're doing over on YouTube. All I got to say is this. The top YouTube creators in the U.S., based on total in-country subscribers, Mr. Beast picked up more than 27 million new subscribers, and he's at 114 million right now. The highest earning YouTube creator ever, in 2021, pulled in an estimated $54 million. Now, next up, I want to talk about podcasting, because there's a lot of talk about this, and they're trying to say that 2023 is going to be a bad year for podcasting. But let's just point this out. There are all these different stories that are going to be out here about this. What you have to realize is it's not so much the grassroots. The grassroots are doing fine. Plus, you got to remember, too, there's a lot of change where podcasting is getting looked at more like video. I mean, everybody has microphones and all their things set up. I don't necessarily know if there's enough people out there that are actually paying attention to what's going on to say that like podcasting is changing. Because I think also people are starting to get more into feel like they want to watch as opposed to just listen. I mean, obviously there's a place for that, but that's the whole point. And there's a story from Fred Jacobs that really puts that point across, but I'll bring that up in a second. So anyway, Bloomberg put a story out and they try to say that was going on, right? So overall podcasting revenue listenership continued to grow. The runaway exuberance many felt about state of the medium has dissipated lately. But here's the thing. And then somebody tried to put a blog post out that 2022 was the year the podcasting died. Wrong. Because people are also just adapting through clips in some cases. And the thing is, too, is that, you know, the economic conditions also hurt the audio companies trying to do anything more in podcasting. So SiriusXM, Spotify Technology, freezing the U.S. budget for new podcasts. Amazon Music pulling back on new deals, instructing teams to reduce offers that are already on the table but unsigned. Those kind of issues are trying to come into play, and that's what they think is going to be the issue going on overall with all this going on. And, you know, somebody talks about the fact that there's so many shows out there, so many good shows, it's harder and harder to break through. Now, they're trying to say the podcast industry is suffering from the broader macroeconomic downturn hurting media and tech companies, and employment is also feeling less secure. Well, these big corporate companies, that's how it's going to be. But now the industry still expects to be strong no matter what. YouTube only entered the podcast space in August, and multiple companies see international markets as untapped opportunity to distribute domestic hits abroad. They're all going to be fine. But these stories come out a little bit like clickbait, and then here's the brighter side. National Public Radio is going to institute budget cuts and a near hiring freeze. So their content might be compromised as well. If Vulture put another story like this, I don't know these hit pieces on podcasting for, but I'll bring it up and make comments about it. It doesn't make much of a difference. But they all want to say something like that. And well, they're all talking about the same thing. Oh, Spotify's getting hurt. Amazon's getting hurt. iHeartMedia's getting hurt. Okay, whatever. Because you're worried about those companies being out there. And, you know, it doesn't make a difference. Because some shows are going to come and go. I also remember we had 2020. We had so many different people that were doing podcasting at that point. They all dropped off. Especially the celebrities. When they can go back to their normal content, right? Back to what they're good at. Or you would think they're good at. Now, there were some predictions, or there were trends, creative or business-wise, you're hoping to see go away in 2023. There's a couple of these that I actually kind of liked here about what they don't want to see in podcasting anymore. Celebrity TV chat casts can hopefully level out. Think we have plenty. Companies building their own entire podcasting budgets on flashy shows with high-profile hosts who clearly don't want to host a podcast. That's true. True crime, please God. They talk about audio fiction that feels expressly made for TV adaptation. Shows that 4 segments are just for the sake of having segments. Just let the conversation flow, baby. I agree. And the phrase, here's the thing about blank. Correct. I agree with that. But like I said, you can go ahead and talk about all these other companies going on, but podcasting is going to be fine. There's going to be an audience out there that still wants to listen. And the thing is, people want us to listen to audio. And that would still give, radio a chance in some cases. But, what are you going to do about it? People just don't understand the changes being made. And there's a lot of stuff being talked about this, man. A lot. Because when you look at the disconnect between radio and podcasting, and the fact that radio could come back in and really bring in some context and actually do find a way to reposition themselves and what their purpose is as an audio provider. They need to realize they're the arbiters. They're supposed to be the DJs. They're supposed to be the people that are able to pinpoint what music should be heard out there. The ones that is going to be most popular. Get the gauge of the audience. We don't have that right now. Like, look, I mean, thank you, TikTok, for getting all these songs over here. I mean, I just saw that right now. Well, next week, Miguel's Short Thing, a song from 2011, 2012, I think it was. That song is not going to make it back up the charts. All of a sudden. I don't even know why. It's just a TikTok thing. Lady Gaga's Bloody Mary, same thing. But, I mean, is there a groundswell of support after that? Like, why doesn't radio jump on top of that and really kind of boost that up? They're not. Because they're not songs that be produced or promoted, whatever. I don't know what's going on. So now I'm going to go and break down what the radio and podcasting landscape is right now. Well, at least radio, because there's a couple things to be brought up with that we should bring across the board. So, first of all, I mean, if podcasting was going to do anything, I mean, radio is supposed to be the thing where, music's supposed to be something that people want to listen to. So there's the streaming services, but why is it that radio, being the fact that they don't have to charge, like it's a free service, but if people want to hear music with ads, they're making this impossible to do. And everybody else will go ahead and go buy Spotify or Amazon or whatever and pay the monthly subscription to get away from it. That's where things are right now. So right now, InsideRadio.com, they did analysis of Nielsen's PPM market, personal PPM market, and their data. So the music people listen to is adult contemporary, which is like, soccer mom music. Maybe 80s, 90s, more like 2000s, the current day.